I guess we're back, and I guess we're doing something tonight. That's something. It's Dungeons and Dragons Second Edition, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. We're just having a great time tonight. Yay! I don't know. Oak will be joining us soon with any luck. If not, wish Oak a happy birthday. He is also crested into his 50s. He's also there with me now. The water is very tepid. 51. It's just all downhill, I got to tell you. Right, so we are back to our Greyhawk campaign. And Richard, who are you playing tonight?
I'm someone, and I am playing somebody else, and I'm feeling particularly young this evening.
Yeah.
I'm playing Arvin, family named Taklu, and they're a wild mage who is on the search for aliens.
Because
aliens.
Because aliens. Mm-hmm. Jameis, who you got tonight?
I'm playing the bard. He's the bard, and he's barding.
Yeah.
Dude, we need to calm down seriously here, all of us.
I know. It's such a high energy night tonight. It's just been one of those days. Well, when we need energy, we ask Dion to tell us who he's playing.
Hello. Tonight, I'm playing Odie, and unlike Richard, I feel so old.
Right. Okay. Well, I guess we're not going to break the trend. Bill, why don't you put us all to sleep?
Yeah, I'm already asleep. What are you talking about? I am. Well, I'm Bill. I'm playing Father Cedric. He is a third-level cleric of Zagag, and he's fond of pranks of which he has not played any yet, but I have a feeling they will be forthcoming.
Surprise! We're surrounded by orcs. Yeah.
That's not surprising. We knew that already.
Right. So last episode, you did find a group of orcs that were out hunting, trying to get meat for the colony. One of them, charmed by your wizard that has been joining you here, Karastan, who has not an inconsiderable amount of skill, but still is not going to save your ass if it comes down to it, because, just how he is. But you decided
why his other friend tried to kill him.
Right, his apprentice. He's got a really bad track record with apprentices. They've all tried to kill him so far. Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, luckily you're not apprentices. You are merely companions on his quest to find the 5 ancient swords and reunite them for some reasons. Because of reasons.
Oh, we
So you decided.
We rate companions, we're not just hirelings. Okay.
Well, yeah, actual companions, not hirelings. You decided to enter the orc city by a clever means of becoming slaves. Was that or food? You figured slaves might allow you a little bit more leeway than food. So you find yourselves brought to near the lake, set of caverns. And give me a second here. Is there anything you want to do to prepare beforehand, by the way? The orcs that you've sort of befriended are telling you that it's a really bad idea, that generally humans are not well liked in the orc city. And it's a really bad idea for you to go in there, but hey, who are they to stop you from doing what you want to do?
So I look around, we're all human apart from Oak's character who's a dwarf, right?
Right.
Okay. Is this why Oak is not here? Did you message him beforehand and say, "Hey, don't turn up. I'm going to eat the rest of the party," and then you could be off somewhere else? No.
The dwarvish knowledge of his forefathers finally kicked in, and he slipped off.
Okay. Well.
Yeah. Now, Oak's around. Hopefully, we'll see him tonight. He is dealing with some family issues, but with any luck, he'll be able to join us. Again, so is there anything you wanted to do in preparation? Again, reminding you that this is probably a terrible idea for you to do, but
Look, the wizard's with us, right?
yeah.
Can't you just make us look like orcs?
No.
What?
I mean, the answer is probably yes,
have
but I
a
don't
spell?
want to. So.
No, not something that he's capable of really pulling off. I mean, he could turn you into real orcs, but he couldn't turn you back.
What's the downside to getting turned into an orc?
You're an orc?
Yeah, but like, will I be a pretty orc?
No,
Oh.
you will not be.
Nobody will ever recognize you as the hero of your village again.
Mm-hmm.
That might be
You
a
will
good
become
thing.
the terror of villages.
That might be a good thing though, because one of my things for my peasant folk hero is eventually someone's gonna be like, "Help! Help!"
Humans are raiding our orc city. Please help.
I'm mentally going over what I'm gonna say to the orcs in charge.
The shaman.
I'm gonna plan on using soothing word if it looks like it's gonna go badly for us. Not that would completely take care of it, but it might help.
Would they know if you're casting that?
Well, it's not even really a cast. It's just a
Oh.
way of speaking and using of my divine energy to help soothe things. It's not really a spell.
Oh, cool.
But you do have to speak their
it's
language.
a purple set.
Yeah. You do have to speak their language for that to work.
Maybe they speak common. We don't know that.
Maybe. Well, if you don't want to make any further preparations,
It really sounds like Bert's trying to hint we're supposed to be doing something, but we're not getting it.
No,
I mean,
not at all.
We've got the swords. Are we looking to hide the swords from them or disguise them?
Too late.
Or-
We've already shown them off, so.
I mean,
Eh,
I mean, you're
alright.
being taken in as slaves, so
so before they take us in, can we just like put a cart somewhere with our stuff in it and hide it so they don't take it?
Sure.
Is that an option? Should we
Of
do
course
that?
it's an option.
I asked the wizard what he thinks.
It's like, well, I mean, there's a good chance that whatever we leave is going to be found by any of the numerous wild animals about. But we can hide it, I suppose. We shouldn't let the swords out of our sight, however. But maybe I can wiggle up a little enchantment to hide the swords about our persons and your own weapons as well. Here we go. Here, let's do this. And he pulls out a sack. Looks like an old grain sack. So just put anything in here that you'd like to have access to. Just shove it on in there.
Okay, so we put the swords in there and I guess our weapons and armor, because otherwise they're going to take it from us, I'm assuming, if we're just slaves. I asked the orcs, like, are you going to take all of our things when we get in there?
Well, I mean, they're certainly not going to let you keep your armor and your weapons. It's not a thing. The wizard is like taking off his robe. He's taking off numerous magic items on himself. He takes a couple of rings and swallows them. And then he takes that kind of potato sack of holding and just straps it around his waist and uses it as like a loincloth.
Yeah,
just holds it up between his buttocks and, just clenches it around him. It's like, oh, all right, no one's going to go after this now. All safe and well up there. Am I tucked? I'm tucked. Okay.
Did you say potato shaft of holding?
Potato sack of holding.
Oh, I was like, I have no idea what a potato shaft of holding is.
It's full of carbs. That's what
It's
it
a
is.
magical item.
Yeah, I
It's
put
full of
everything
carbs.
away. So Odie takes off his armor and
Yeah, your
while
armor
the
can fit in the sack too. You can
yeah,
toss
so
anything you
while
want in there.
the party members know that Odie is actually Odessa, everybody else around sees at this point that it's not a man under the armor.
The
So,
orcs literally don't care.
yeah, no, it's just that moment of like to the wizard, even if he didn't realize.
Oh no, he knew, of course. He's
Yeah.
a wizard.
Yeah.
Okay. So you throwing all your personal items into the sack? Or are you trying to keep anything back hidden?
I guess a dagger.
I'm gonna try to hide a dagger. All right.
Don't really know what I mean. I guess I put all spell components and stuff in there because I don't really know what else I would have on me like that.
Oh, I
Would
want the
survive.
ram's horns too.
Carry the ram's horns. Okay.
Yep.
Assuming I'm keeping some sort of clothing on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have 4 or 5 sling stones in my pocket.
Sure. Okay.
Oh no, stones! He's armed.
All right. Yeah.
My
They
collect-
Makes sense.
they do take some of maybe some of the weapons that are secondary just to show that they've taken your weapons from you, that sort of thing. All right, we'll take you in. You might want to get your story straight. One of the Inquisitioners might want to ask you some questions. So, be thinking what your story is. Yeah. We just ran into you out here whilst hunting and decided that you were just too stringy to eat. So, we bringing you back to labor. Gonna break some rocks for us. Yeah, it's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Let's go.
Uh-huh.
You did want to try and hide your cart.
I mean, we put all of our belongings away, so yeah, I guess
You've
we'll
got
leave the cart
provisions,
somewhere.
your like your campsite stuff, things like that are in the back of the cart. You might want later.
Yeah, we just hide the cart, I guess.
Okay, good enough. Anybody have any particular skills at disguising things or hiding things? No, of course not, because you can't even tell which direction you're facing in the wilderness. All right, you do as best you can. Maybe push it into a shallow cave and put some debris over it. Which, without navigation, you'll never be able to find it again.
Huh.
But they take you down to the shore of the lake that's kind of high in the mountain here. And they stop a little bit beforehand. There's some kind of... This whole area is covered in small animal dens, small caves. The water used to fill most of the top of this plateau area and had infiltrated into the mountainside, causing a bunch of caverns and caves, most of them very small. But as you're going through, they tell you to wait. So half of them go away, half of them stay with you, and they have their weapons drawn around you like they're menacing you, perhaps. One of them nudges you, Odessa, make it look good.
I look like a sad, captured slave.
Oh, that's good. Puppy dog, guys. That works real well. Okay, let's go with that. The leading party of orcs that go away notice that they are greeted by orcs that look like they just come out of the ground as if they were lying in wait in like little trap, like foxholes in the ground. And then, first it's half a dozen, then a dozen, 20, 30, 40 to start pouring out of just holes around the edge of the lake. And they're having very heated debate with the orcs that brought you over. Soon enough, though, those orcs come back with another 6 other orcs. Does anybody speak orc in your party?
Nope.
I speak a language.
Yep. Buddy.
And it's a good language.
But it's not orc. Yeah.
No.
It's where's my language list?
I speak orc.
What's your intelligence bonus for Odie? If you don't have one, you only speak your native language in common.
Okay.
Yeah. Odie, not so bright.
No, flat 10, baby.
Yeah. Oh, that's
It'll
fine.
say in the language slot next to your status.
You just
Oh,
don't
wait.
have
I
a-
thought
It
we weren't
says
doing
+2.
that. Right, but I thought that was part of the skills package where you had to buy languages separately because of the way we're doing skills. I don't know.
Yeah, that's very true. But yeah, it just means that you're not very highly book educated. That's all. The 10 is perfectly normal intelligence level. Totally
Yeah.
average. Yep, as Griffin points out. It's just you haven't had a lot of education. That's all. You're not dumb.
Exactly.
Just
I
not
just
well
don't-
educated.
Yeah, I'm just a monoglot.
Because, of course you have high wisdom, right? Eh?
How dare you question the stats of the peasant hero of the village? They have all the stats. So many.
When they gave you the
Hero
title
of the
Peasant
Village.
Hero, they were really saying that you were the town drunk. Is what you're
More
meaning.
stats than you can shake
No.
a stick at.
I'm strong and I'm fast and I'm thick.
Thick.
That's 3 C's.
Nice.
Okay. Good enough. So talking in Orcish, Bard apparently understands some Orc. They're questioning whether or not you have strong enough backs to work the mines, and they're kind of looking you over. And then one of the Orcs that were with you points out, it's like, well, I mean, they're certainly not going to be good for the stew pots. Look at this one. So thin. As they prod your character, Richard. Arvin.
Me, thin. Okay, fine. Yep, that's good.
No meat on these bones. No good for the cook pots. Might as well get some use out of them. Right. We'll put them to work on the quarries. They need to be. Looking at them over, kind of looks over there. Do they have anything on them? Weapons, gold. And it shows like the poor showing of weapons. Again, these are just your tertiary, like things like a camp axe, maybe an old spear that was in there. It's like, farmers? They don't look like they're farmers.
I nod. I'm a farmer.
Okay, we take them in. Right, so the stronger group, larger group that comes out, kind of pushes you all ahead. They don't try to speak to you at all. They've got spears. Some of them have crossbows. You get the idea that you're meant to march ahead of them. And you get so we got the big map here. I'm not going to bother to hide anything on it. It's immense, and it's all mostly underneath the lake. So the blue area is the lake, and everything here is beneath the lake. We've got this huge city beneath the lake. Right at the coastline here is an entrance. It's an entrance where there's all kinds of foxholes dug, but there's also a main entrance that they just kind of march you through. You're going through mostly a dirt and stone tunnel that's being reinforced, kind of like a mine shaft. Now, none of you, know Bard. Bard speaks Orc, so you know some of the culture as well. Typically, Orcs aren't miners, so the fact that they've got a well-built mine shaft with timbers to hold up the walls, it may speak to the fact that they took over something that was already here. This is not typical for Orcs to do this. Or someone has taught them to. So you're brought through this passage. There are side passages here and there, and you're just hundreds of Orcs are moving around. Some are young, some are but children. Plenty of fighters armed with everything from swords to spears to crossbows. Since you are being accompanied and none of you appear to be holding weapons, no one really gives you a second glance. So you're going through, are you all on the main map on your own fantasy grounds? Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I have it open.
So I hate the fact that I can't just, Right. So you guys are here on the map,
Oh
and
wow.
you're
Which
being
map?
brought through this tunnel section here.
Okay.
Which map? Because
Are you not seeing a map pictured up,
Oh,
Dennis?
so if you guys go to images and then
Yeah,
go to the
what's it
last page, it's orc map.
no, I hear noise as well.
Our dwarf has shown back up. He has not fled.
Sorry about that.
Ooh, since our dwarf is here, does he recognize any of the architecture?
Yes, I do. It's early dwarven.
I mean, probably. Sounds legit to me.
Well, Oak, you can tell that. So you're being led through what appears to be a mine shaft into the Orc City. It has braces like you would do in a traditional mine. They're wood, though. Typically, your people don't work with wood like this. It would be stone bracings. So it's not dwarven architecture, and orcs aren't known to reinforce mines like this.
But the style is dwarven.
No, if anything, you would say it's human.
Yes, this shoddy craftsmanship's not dwarven. Wood, this wood rots. It's not lasting like stone. This has to be human. It's too sophisticated for orcs. And I don't know if any are still around. But
Oh yeah,
no,
we're currently
You're surrounded by them. There's
Yeah.
hundreds of them.
yeah, we're being led along into the city. We went with them and took all our gear off and put it into a bag of holding that the wizard has. Unless you wanted to try and take something and hide it on you.
at this level, no.
Okay. Tunnel goes on for a bit. You can see that it is well patrolled. Several well-armed and armored orcs marching up and down the passage. Again, there's smaller openings that they disappear down. You are being led through like the main shaft. These smaller side shafts, you can tell, are more freshly dug, very crude in comparison to this main shaft that's well supported every few feet. But it does eventually open up into a much larger area. This is a cavern. It looks like the sides were mined out to a very great depth on either side. It rises a good 60 feet above you. Well, no, I'm sorry. The whole thing is like 60 feet. So it's shaped like a bowl. You can tell that the whole thing has been carved out of the bedrock and what lies just below the river. It's kind of damp in here, like the water impregnates through the soil a bit, so that everything has kind of a dank smell to it, although not of rot. It looks like there's enough airflow that rot hasn't set in, but it is damp. And all about you are very crude structures where orcs that do not look as robust as the guards, actually quite a few of them look injured, but all of them seem to be working on sharpening pickaxes, axes, other implements. It looks like these are all workers working on some great project. Many of them are not dressed well, very tattered clothing. And again, I mentioned that some of them appear to be injured, although treated, like arms are splinted, but still, broken arms, that sort of thing. And you are all kind of pushed into a very simple wooden shack. There are no windows. The shack is just kind of freestanding in the midst of all these other lean-tos and other shacks. It would be quite simple to break out of. Even the front door is just a simple wooden frame, but they do throw a bar across the outside, and then they station some guards out there. So you are left alone in this room. The only thing else in this room is a simple, crude stone fire pit in the middle, and there is kind of a chimney flue at the very top of this wooden structure for that smoke to get out. And again, it's damp, but not cold in here. Certainly not hospitable, and there's no amenities at all. And you're all just kind of pushed in here. So, Oak, you came in a little late. You don't have any of your weapons or your armor. You're basically stripped down to just very basic clothing. But the wizard with you has thrown all of your gear into a literal potato sack of holding, which he's strapped around his waist to make kind of like a groin covering that he's wearing as his clothing.
Nice. Need this to contain all my junk.
Yeah. And now it contains his junk. And you're just pushed in there. The original orcs that you came in with, the one that's charmed has finagled himself to be one of the guards out front, and there's 4 of them out front. Okay. What do you do?
Is this map shared with us? Or
Yes, it's Orc
Is it
City.
under Orc?
It's under images, last page, Orc City.
So are we still where you indicated, Bert, or are we now deeper inside?
You are, man, I really wish there was a way to do a hover thing.
What do you want to do?
Can you hover to point an area on the map?
Ping.
You can just use a
Ping.
pointer.
Yeah, but there's no ping.
Not at
All right.
the moment.
You guys are right there.
Okay.
And so this is just kind of like a very loose kind of work camp with very crude lean-to shacks, some boards here and there to make buildings such as the one that you're put into right now. Very crude, very temporary. And everyone here seems to be workers. And while not slaves, definitely the lower rungs of this society. The main passage continues out the back end of the cavern. You can see a very wide tunnel, again, well-braced, that goes out to the north. But now you're guarded by 4 orcs on the outside. One of them is charmed by your wizard. The smoke, or the cook ring that's in the middle of the floor, has some dying embers in it. So there's a little bit of light in here for those of you that cannot see in the dark, which is everybody but Oak.
Is there any tinder?
No. They left you nothing to stoke the fire with.
Okay.
Just grab a
You
hold
could
of my
probably
belt.
break off one of the walls of the shack and use that.
You could.
I can lead us through here. Just grab my belt loop and hold on.
But there's guards.
I don't think you have a belt loop yet either. You're probably just in a loincloth.
Careful what you're grabbing then.
Karastin points at his own potato sack. He says, this is this where we get our gear. We seem to still be surrounded by a fair number of these orcish individuals, none of which seem very polite in the least. And we still don't know exactly where in this impressive dwelling area this sword might be.
Now, are we left to our own devices at the moment? Are we in a cell? Are we in a cell or left to our own devices?
You are in a crude wooden shack with no windows, a single door, but there are 4 orcs standing outside as guards. One of them is charmed. But there are also orcs all around you as well.
Why did we come to let ourselves be made slaves? I don't. What?
Well, it was your plan. Don't look at me. I'm just a mage here.
I don't know. I had a few
People
mistakes
think
or
that
something.
magedom and great power go along with great wisdom. Let me tell you, it's not the case.
We
I
were
don't know about you,
gonna
but
talk to the shaman, and they said the only way is if you're slaves or food.
right. Okay, makes sense. So how do we get to talk to the shaman then? Do we just bang on the doors and demand an audience with the shaman now that we're slaves?
I don't know. I think he.
Oh, let's try that. I bang on the doors. Hey, I want to talk to the shaman.
Make me a dex check.
A dex check.
Yes.
A dexterity check. Well, I
Your
Yeah, I
hand
fail
goes through the
immediately. I
door,
don't
you
even
hit the
need to-
guard on the head and you start coming back.
mean, I don't even need to roll. An 18.
Oh my gosh.
That beats my 3 dex somehow. So,
You have a 3 dex?
I have a 3 dex.
Why is your dex
Wow.
3?
Because I rolled, when
The
we were doing
least
character
thing you
creation,
could
I rolled
possibly
3
roll.
1s and a 2, and I
Oh my
thought, meh, I'll
God.
drop the 2. Why not? That'll be great. I could have had a 4 dex, wouldn't that have been?
Okay, well, you have no dex bonus. Obviously, you're not wearing armor, so a 10 hits as a spear is thrust through one of the great gaping holes in the boards of the door. The spear is plunged into you. As an orc on the other side says in Orcish, which you don't understand, but Bard does, essentially, quiet down, you! As your spear hits you in the gut for 6 whole points of damage.
Oh, he's dead. Next.
I appear to still be injured from whenever we had a fight last, so I fall on the floor and bleed to death.
Okay, what are you at, minus-wise?
-4.
Okay, all right. Well, Karastin Karastin drops Trow, making this now a rated R show, as he starts rummaging through his potato sack.
Franks and Banes!
Pulls out some salve, which he rubs over your wound, shoving a finger in there to make sure there's nothing stuck in there. Oh, look, intestines. Have anyone ever seen intestines before? These are intestines.
I think more of the blood's supposed to be on the inside than the out.
You would think that. We'll take 5 back.
Puts me on 1. Woo!
But it does, yeah, the spear hole does kind of seal up after he's solved it over. And he says, well, I have got more ways to heal in here. Up to you if we should use it this early in our gambit. This is a gambit, right? So one of you has some spectacular idea of how to find the sword in this orc-infested hellhole.
Kind of what we figured your magic would do.
Well, if I knew where the sword was, perhaps.
Can you turn
You've
one of us
got-
into an orc,
Wait a minute.
or where we look like
You
one?
chose the
We've already
orc.
discussed that. I could certainly turn you into an orc. I just couldn't turn you back.
Well, never mind. I'm not going to volunteer for that then.
How did you tell the orc if you don't speak Orcish? No, there's a common tongue. No. Look, can you get your friend Orc to take us to the shaman?
Well, I mean, we can certainly ask him, but more importantly, who is anyone else gravely injured that we should take care of before we go further into these? Of course, yeah, hands down. He just slaps your hand away.
Right, that takes me back down to 0 hit points.
We have to ration what we have here. I've got several, it looks like 12 potions, a couple of unguents, and some very foul-smelling, looks like these expired 5 years ago. It's probably still useful, though. So we have various ways of healing our injuries. Anyone else in need? He'll throw you a potion there, Arvin.
Wait, you have expired potions?
I do!
How many?
6.
Okay. Can you get your friend to offer them to the other guards?
Oh, no, there's a plan. There's a plan. The results can be spectacularly useful or explosively bad.
Well,
Arvid, if you want to take the
explosively
potion,
bad.
it's 2d6 of healing. If you want to take it now, or you can.
Yes, absolutely. I mean,
Is anyone
we'll
else?
find out how
down?
explosively bad it is.
Oh, these are the good ones. He gave you one of the good ones, but he does have 6 that are dubious.
It's very explosive. If only we had despicable
Oh,
bells.
look at that.
Y'all are doing that. I need AFK real quick. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, can you get Red Norin quickly to cast a Spectic Bells on the orcs?
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Well, I am at full. Yeah.
Oh, well,
Yay.
since you have tested the range of the spear through the door, Karastan will stay well to the side as he speaks to his friendly orc in trade common. He's like, "Well, let's hope the other ones don't understand." So they carry out a conversation, and there's some orcish talk on the other side too. They seem to be questioning the one orc as to what's going on. Let me see how they react to all this. Okay, they murder the other orc. You hear the sounds, quick sound of English, followed by the sounds of axes falling. And Karastan turns to you and is like, "Oh dear, I believe I have gotten our friend killed."
No, I'm perfect. Oh, wait, other one. Right, yes. Well, that was the end of this campaign. Well, yeah. I don't know what we're going to do from here then. I mean, we could pull out all our weapons, etc., and then attempt to murder a whole city of orcs, but I don't see that going very well,
I
so...
don't think that'd work, yeah.
I have a very risky gambit we could try.
Is it less risky than us all getting stabbed by spears when we knock on the door?
Oh, take your pick really for that.
Sounds good to me then.
Okay. Now, do I tell you what the plan is first, or we just enact it? No, very, very simply, someone do something magical, just like create a light or something, and I tell them that the shaman should come and assess us for magical ability, that we might be able to better serve him, rather than be used in the mines.
Roll me a d6 there, Bard.
No. 6. Haha, the perfect.
Okay. So you get your plan out before you're interrupted. So
Yay.
yeah, if you want to say anything else, you go right ahead. But quickly on the tail of you getting out, what your plan is, something's going to happen.
Okay, well, I don't have, well, I do have magical ability, but I don't have the ability to cast a light or anything, so I'll look at the magical people to say, can you cast a light or something? And then...
Yes. Orcs come in. You can clearly see the remnants of the other orc kind of just bleeding out. He's holding on to his throat as he's bleeding out on the ground on the other side of the door. They come in with manacles, and they basically just roughly push Karastan to the ground. Karastan is nude at this point because his loincloth / bag of holding is laying on the ground, looking just like an empty sack because no one's got their hands in it currently. They just slap a leg iron on his left leg, and they go over to Odie. He throws the chain on the ground, points at it, Odie, and points at you. Says something in Orcish.
Hmm?
Bard speaks Orcish.
Yeah, basically he's saying, "Put it on, human."
Where are you taking us? Asking Orcish.
To labor. If you want supper, you labor. You speak our tongue. Good.
Yes. The shaman might want to see us first, for some of us have abilities in that area, but they might better serve him. Just keep it. One of you do some magic now. Quick.
Karastan urinates on one of the orcs, and he makes it glow as he casts light upon his stream.
Well, and that was in the Creston. Right. I don't foresee that going well.
Oh yeah. So one of them does backhand Karastin, knock him to the ground, bust his lip up a little bit, but he continues to as he finishes his stream,
See, magical ability. The shaman will want to know.
leaving a glowing puddle behind.
We should be checked by him. We might be better
Right.
service to the great shaman of your city.
Make me a charisma.
Did you say the bag of
Cool.
holding was just laying there?
Just laying
Yeah.
there, just looking like a discarded.
Check how many bits we have. I'm probably about to blow 4 to make the check.
We have
Depending on what I
plenty.
roll.
Oh,
I had to blow 4 to make the check.
Yep.
Auto success.
okay.
I
I was
vote 4. Got it.
all right.
I've got a really good charisma, but I'm not testing when I'm not.
One of them picks up, it pulls out like a dagger as he's approaching you. And then one of them puts his hand on the other one, and they have a quick exchange in Orc, trying to whisper it, but not so well. So, Bard, you can pick it up. One of them reminds the one that wants to gut you that anybody that has potential, the shaman does want to see. So the one that's about to gut you puts his dagger back, growls a bit, and says, "Yeah, but they can work until the shaman's available." Odie, one of them makes to kick you because you haven't been fast enough putting that leg iron on. It misses.
Hey. I pick up the iron.
Odie, let's just play along for the moment. We'll get to see
I
the time
put
and
the
talk
iron
to you.
on.
Okay. Drops another one in front of Arvin and Bard.
Sure. I guess I give it the one.
Yep. So it's all chained together. Karastin is going to be the lead. Dion, Arvin, and Bard. And Grimly will be at the end of Grimly and Cedric. Between the two of you, you can decide who's going to be at the end of the chain.
Grimly still wasn't around, so
the orc picks up the sack, cleans the piss off himself, and throws it at Karastin and tells him to put it on. So
I'm back. Sorry about that.
Pins it back on himself.
What did I miss besides someone getting pissed on?
You're either second to last or last in the chain gang, as all of you have put the irons on your left leg, and you're all chained with Karastin at the front.
I'll be last.
Okay, Cedric, then you're second to last. As you're
Is there any
off.
way we'd have had a chance for me to secure like my thieves' picks or anything?
I had asked before if anyone wanted to try to secrete something on themselves. If you wanted to say that was your thieves'
I don't
pick.
want to secrete it, but I mean that's what I have to do.
You've cached it somewhere, maybe in your prison pocket. Who knows?
I get my
But
prison pocket.
you have it. Now you're all wearing some kind of clothing, whatever your small clothes were, or if you had clothes beneath your armor more than just padding, that's what you're wearing. So sure, you can have your lockpicks, but your weapons, your armor, any gear you had is now in the piss-soaked potato sack of holding that's around Karastin's waist again.
Nice.
You guys are led in this chain. There's a good 4 feet of slack in the chain between each one of you. Karastin is surprisingly fit for the older man that he is. So you get in a rhythm. Everybody leads with the left foot, and so you don't tangle each other up. Takes you a moment, but you're brought through this very slovenly, poorly kept area here where it appears this is like the dregs of their society that work on perhaps the lowest priority things. This is kind of just a lean-to tent village, if you will. But they bring you through this larger tunnel. So... man, I really wish there was a hover thing on this. Got to figure out some way to do that.
Can you bring a token or something on me that we can see?
Yeah, that's probably the best way.
Yeah, that's probably easiest. Just put a token you can move around.
Yeah. Okay. Wow, I really did not do this in high enough definition. But so you're heading up this way. This area looks to be like there's a set of low stone buildings. Some of them look like they've been cracked and broken, as if some great heat has come through here at one point in time. And they've been patched up with either mud or wood to be usable. but you can see the edges of this cavern. You can see some other workers now chipping and slaving away at it, including a brace of dwarves. There's like a group of 12 dwarves there, Grimly. They look like they have not eaten well in a while. They barely have the strength to pull back the mattocks and picks and to chip at the walls. They're widening out this cavern.
I'll, if I can say something without being like really overheard a bunch, I'll try to say in Dwarven, like, "Stay strong, brothers. I'll get you out soon."
Okay. Well, you catch their attention. Some of them kind of look over their shoulder at you and just give it like a slight nod that they've heard. The leader of your chain line here kind of turns around and snarls something in Orcish at Grimly. Borrowed translation is basically to shut your yap. Something very similar.
Yeah, I'll bow my head down real quick, like I've been cowed.
Mm-hmm. And they put you on the opposite wall from the dwarves. They point out pickaxes on the ground, buckets to carry the gravel away. They point to the mountain of gravel that they're using to repair some of these stone buildings right in the middle of this area. Some of the other stone is just being poured onto like a mine car that's being no tracks. It's just a wheeled mine car that's being hauled off by some of these other orcs that you saw in the prior tunnel. They seem to be using it to shore up failing structures around. Since you speak Orc Bard, they tell you the leader of the gang that's kind of taking control of you tells you what you're supposed to labor here and extend this wall out. And they tell you if you find gems or ore, you yell out. You'll get extra rations if you find either.
I'll pass that information along while we're currently in this predicament.
One of the other unfortunate orcs from the prior, this one has like a broken arm that's in a sling, but they still labor. Brings he's got like a yoke over one arm. There's a bucket of water pulled from the freshwater lake above, and just kind of lays it here. So this is a bucket of water for all of you. There's a simple wooden spoon and some wooden cups just in the bucket. They drop it there. Bard, you're told this is your ration of water for the day.
Hmm.
Can you tell the ugly bastards that if we dwarves are allowed to sing in our native tongue, it helps us find gems easier?
Hey, Evan, if the dwarves are allowed to sing, they can find gems easier.
Huh? What? Oh, really? Okay. I allow you to sing then. Was I the one stopping you? That's fine. You can sing.
They should tell the ugly ones.
No, the whoever the orc in charge of us is.
Actually, I've
letting
got
them
a
know.
different,
So that way I
thing for that. I tell the orc, if you let me sing, I can inspire them more to work.
I'm looking at a
If
way
I
for me
don't
to
have to do
communicate
physical
with the others.
labor, I can make these other people work twice as hard.
Yeah. Also, I can also lift their spirits up and actually make them a bit more resilient to actually what the hell's going on here. And stuff, you know.
That one's got management potential.
Yes, at all. I'm not at all can raise up people's spirits and get them ready for a revolt or anything. No.
All right. Well, this is a different orc. Give me a charisma check.
Okay. I'm not gonna use bits. Whatever I roll is whatever I roll. That's pretty good.
Okay.
That's pretty.
He says, you can sing unless it irritates us. Those dwarves, we can't stand them.
No. Well, I'll try to avoid the dwarven songs.
Well, it has to be dwarves singing in native tongue to work. I'm trying to find ways we can communicate with the others to get more information.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're left alone after you explained what you're supposed to do. Now, you are in an area that's filled with orcs, but they don't leave a guard there. But the area itself is filled with orcs that are going in and out of those stone buildings that are kind of in the center of all of this.
Okay. I thought we'd have a guard right there watching us.
Yeah, no guard. You're all chained together. They don't put a center chain on you or anything, so you guys can spread out, but you really can't get more than 3 feet away from each other.
So I'm gonna talk to the others. Like, how long you been here, brothers?
Okay, so you're on the opposite wall as them, so you want to shout that out?
Yeah, or if we can stretch, if no one's watching us, if we can just stretch the chain out.
Yeah,
Where
you
I can
won't
get as
make it
close
that
as
far,
possible.
but if you want to switch in that direction, they tell you we've lost track of the days in here. We sleep and we fall exhausted. They feed us enough to keep us going. Weeks, months. It's all
Same
blending
toil.
together.
Do you know the layout of the area any?
It's all we've seen of this cursed place. 16 of us when we started.
How many now? Just 7 of you?
12. There's a dozen of them.
7 dwarves. This is... Where are they keeping you?
One of them kind of points at a particular, so as I said, there's these stone buildings. Some of them have broken sides and they've just been shored up with wood. They kind of point at a smallish one off to the side. So that's where they put us when we're too exhausted to work anymore. They feed us in there. I don't know how often. It's just enough to keep us going.
Do they check your manacles regular or no?
No, they're quite simple to get off, actually. They're not great workmanship, but where would we go?
Oh, if I can find that out, I'm going to make sure you can move quickly.
The irons are not an issue. We can slip them whenever we need.
Good.
There's just far too many of them to fight our way out.
Maybe we'll find a seam that's been emptied from the other side or something, and we can slip out.
Yep. So Grimly, knowing dwarven culture, so these are not like adventurers or fighters. These are laborers. This is like, these are stonemasons and skilled labor sort of dwarves. These are not dwarves that go on adventures and that, fight to protect hearth and home. These are simple laborers.
Well, knowing how to do stone could be very helpful for us setting up a defense or traps or something.
Yep. They're just not the kind that are going to throw their lives away on a better dead than
Right.
They're not the type.
You heard any tales from any other slaves or the orcs past about strange swords or powers?
Swords, no. Powers. Their shaman takes anyone with powers to that god of theirs, Groomish. There's a temple somewhere in the main city. He just kind of nods off as that tunnel continues on north, up that way somewhere. One of our numbers was a cleric. I took him right away. I've not seen him again. Camp tales of others around say that they're drained of their powers, offered up to Groomish.
And have we been down the tunnel to the southwest? I'm sorry,
no.
Southeast?
Nope, you have not. They just took you on a straight line.
Okay. What lies down that tunnel there?
Guard post. Thousands of them. The city is immense. Some slaves that have skills at repair and fixing have been taken up north, and they speak of an immense city. No orc built those cities.
Now that's to the north. What to the southeast?
He said that's a garrison. That's an orc garrison. That's where all the troops are.
So it'd be a real shame if that cave were to collapse. That tunnel then.
Would it now?
Well, see,
Yeah,
some of you look like master masons and stuff. I'm sure it might be rigged to look natural with a little help.
It could, but to what we still couldn't fight our way out of here. There's thousands of them.
But it's giving them trouble, though. At least if we could get it set up, if we had to make an escape, and
Make me a
that's
charisma
why
check to
behind us.
see. I mean, they're kind of broken spirit wise. Again, they're not. They're being fed and they're given just enough rest that they can work. Yeah.
Success
So
by 7.
your words are falling on them. You can tell that their will's been broken. I mean, if you could do something amazing that could rally them, perhaps they would help. But it doesn't look good.
Understand your spirits broke, brothers, but stay strong. I'll figure something out. My friends here are pretty crafty.
It's a Tuesday. We get meat tonight. Don't ask what meat.
Now,
Find the Starbucks, it'll give them hope. No, it'll just give them a caffeine rush. You know, it'll last for that first 5 minutes of combat, then it just leaves you stranded. Empty calories, those Starbucks coffees.
I'll turn and do some work.
Okay. Bard, you were given permission to sing. What are you doing?
Yep. I am singing, and what I'm actually doing is casting the spell was that rally allies.
Mm-hmm.
Give people, which is basically going to try and get around as much as I can. +2 bonus to morale.
Okay, what is the radius on that?
It doesn't actually say.
If it doesn't say, it's within the sound of your voice, which means it will give it to
Okay.
the dwarves as well.
But you
Yeah,
could have
the-
rallied
the-
them
the-
before I
the-
made my speech.
You're not doing speaking. You're trying to get in there and do anything.
Bard doesn't speak dwarf. He doesn't know what you were doing. You were maybe, trading baseball stats. Who knows?
I might speak dwarf. I just haven't worked it out yet. Got a bunch of languages. So,
It'd be
yeah.
pretty funny if he was trading baseball stats.
+2 morale ain't going to do squat for any of us, but for the other people in the thing that can hear and sort of, we're going to get boosted up and stuff.
So while everyone else picks up a pickaxe and an awl, Bard sits on the water bucket, pulls. Well, I guess just uses his voice because you don't want to give away that you've got your instrument with you, and begins to sing.
Heroic
All right.
tales of mighty revolutions.
Look, Karastan picks up a pick. He's never really swung one before, but he's thrilled to try. I'm gonna say high. Just doing a luck check here. All right, 92 is pretty high. Anyone else doing work?
Yeah, I'm working.
I guess.
Yeah.
I want to find a gem.
Okay, so let's start with Arvin then. Just give me a luck check, high, low.
All right, that's it. Yeah. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
19. Lower than
Odie?
low.
Go ahead, same thing. Give me a luck check, high, low.
Hi, baby. Wah!
Is that anybody
That's
working?
working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're finding all the
low for
gems.
me.
With
I
our
always
best
go low.
workers. They'll beat us less now.
Mm-hmm.
And Father Cedric.
Hi.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
So you guys labor, Bard. I mean, you sing for a bit, but eventually you probably pick up a pickaxe as well. You're not sure how much time goes by, but enough, I guess, to kind of scout out what's going around you. They do have patrols that pass through this kind of village center going north to south. Seems like every 4 hours there's a big change of a guard with fresh orcs coming in. I mean, each contingent is about 20 strong. There's always at least 20 to 40 guards in the city itself. They're not really keeping a good eye on you, though. Just every once in a while, one will kind of come and look around to see if you found anything. One in particular seems to be really snoopy and will come up and he'll look through the rocks that you've mined to see if maybe you're hiding gemstones or if you're too dumb to know what ore looks like. There's one large one that's kind of got a limp, and he's dressed in just kind of patchwork chain, like it's chainmail from several different suits that he's kind of woven together to get over his. And when I say large, I mean fat. Like he's really obese, and the chain just kind of hugs him tight. And he's really giving the dwarves, not Grimly, but the other dwarves, a hard time. He goes over and he'll stamp down on one of their leg irons, causing everybody to trip when they try to get too far away. And he'll just start laughing with just giant belly laughs. And as he's leaving, he tips over their water bucket and continues on. But otherwise, no one's paying particularly close interest to you, and no one seems to be like, you're the new guys on the wall, but nobody's come over to pick on you yet. So this goes on for several hours. Since pretty much all of you passed your luck check, you actually do find a vein of ore. It's dull. It could be, actually, you've got a dwarf there. Silver. You guys have read into a silver vein.
We found the main vein.
Right. So the question is whether or not you draw attention to the fact that you found it.
What do you get if you find extra resources?
More food.
More food.
I'm very food motivated.
Whichever the main dwarf I was talking to, brother, there's a vein of silver over here. Claim it for you and your boys, so y'all can get some extra rations.
You're just going to shuffle over to a different wall and let them have that wall.
Yeah, like they're on a bit different part of the room.
Well, they wait till the shift changes, so the particularly obese orc is gone, and they call one of the other foremans over, and so the foreman comes over, takes a look at the ore, basically just tells them that they can stop for the day. There you see that the hut that they are using, another orc is bringing over 2 barrels of water. Another one is bringing over like game, like freshly killed game, and is bringing it into their hut. And they're basically released, and you guys are dragged over to mine the ore.
Hell yeah.
Sorry, they needed it more than we do.
Correct. It's like, but I think that's rabbit and mutton. His stomach growls.
And if any knowledge I have on dealing with silver vein, I'll pass on to everybody on what to do, what not to do, if I have that knowledge.
I mean, you know the basics of how to work a vein. So you chip around it, trying to find the extent of it. It's a small vein. It doesn't last for long, but several hours later, you've pretty much mined it out, and you've got several ore cars full of silver ore. But during this whole time, security is lax. But if anyone cried out or if anyone tried something, I mean, there's always at least 20 to 40 at any given time orcs around that could come and put down any kind of aggression that's going on. You also notice that other than you guys and the dwarves, you're the only ones working this particular site, but the dwarves have told Grimly that there are many more slaves working. They must be working in other places.
A real long shot. How close are we to where the lake is that we might accidentally break through to the lake and flood this place?
Well, it's a shame that nobody's got any non-weapon proficiencies in mining or navigation or. I mean, the lake's above you somewhere.
Yeah. No, best I could do is an intelligence check, but look.
Yeah. After you guys have depleted the vein, a few of the orcs come over. They take a couple of whacks at the wall just to make sure that there wasn't more, and then you're dismissed. All told, you maybe did 9 straight hours of hard labor.
How?
But you're dismissed, and they bring you some extra food too for mining out the ore. So, I mean, it's not like they're working people to death. They're giving you enough food to be able to make up your energy needs. And apparently they do reward you for finding what they want. So you're led to another hut. It's mostly stone. In this case, the top of it is what was blown out. And again, it's strange. It's almost like the stone has been melted by a great deal of heat at some point. And now there's just like a crude wood top has been fitted over it. The inside has that fire pit with that flue in the ceiling. But you also do have straw and grass beds to lay in. There is a cleaning basin to wash yourselves. And candles.
I'll ask about.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was the other thing. You guys are pretty much working in the dark. Because some of you are human, they did leave a few candles out, but there's not a lot of light down here for those of you that can't see in the dark.
Okay. I'll ask about the shaman again to say that they were going to bring us to the shaman for testing. So is the shaman available yet?
Just like a dry chuckle. It's like, you're awfully anxious to have your power sucked from you. Yes. When he comes back, don't you worry. We'll send you his way. You'll go to feed Grumish and the greater authority of the orcs. Don't you worry.
Is that likely to be soon, or is he off doing something somewhere far away? Or
he comes in his own time. Never meddle with the affairs of shamans.
For they are not subtle and quick to anger, yes.
Because they are cranky and quick to anger. You guys are left alone. There is not even a guard left on the outside of your hut this time.
Okay.
Since you've just been down here the day, I mean, you don't know exactly how much time has passed. Well, I guess you could kind of measure it from the burning candles. So you figure it's evening. Sun's probably setting on the outside at this point.
So if the shaman comes, he's going to suck us off.
As they do.
Sign me up. Quick, teach me magic. Oh my god, dog. BB.
So there's no sign of the shaman at the moment. He may turn up any moment, but if he does, he's going to try and... I don't know what's going to happen if he then goes and says hello. We don't know. I don't know how much room time we're going to have to do anything other than just get...
Right. So yeah, you were left with, they left you some game. They left you some, couple of rabbits, couple of fowl. You can cook it yourself over your fire. They did leave you with a little bit of firewood this time.
Cleric, have you learnt correct food and water yet?
Graston once again makes himself nude as he rummages through his potato sack. He pulls out some salve and he starts rubbing it into his aching joints. He's like, I just needed my liniments. I haven't worked that hard in so long.
That would be an interesting spell. Make self nude.
Yes. AFK, dog's about to pee on the floor. Be right back.
Right. I mean, is it? So they left us alone. There's nobody on the door? Is the door locked?
The door's not even locked. Well, basically, the door can barely close. Like it's like a lean-to piece of wood that just covers the front. It's not even hinged. You can just kind of move it.
All right. I will stick my head outside and look around just to see if there are any other places being guarded. Is there any sight of orcs around here?
Well, here again, the thing is, other than you can see through the cracks in some of the doors from the cook fires that are in some of these stone houses, it is completely dark. You are underground.
Oh, yeah.
They don't need torches or lights themselves, so it's hard to see. But you do see like forms moving around the huts, and you know that other than the other 12 dwarves, you're the only ones that were working down here. So everything else must be other orcs.
Or maybe this is hazing. Those other people are just ordinary people who live their lives over there. I don't
Yeah. We just sit around these campfires all day playing games with these dice, and
All right. Okay. Well.
yeah. So they have no need to put guards on you. You assume it's because the rest of this area is filled with other orcs that could probably stop you if they wanted to. You were told just off to the East Passage is basically that's their barracks and armory, and that there's thousands of them down that way. And that's not very far from where you are.
So, Odie, you were the other one with the magical sword, right?
Well, it's in the bag of holding right now.
Right, but I mean, when you didn't have the sword, it didn't like magically teleport to you at night and cause you to have those dreams where you were swinging around your sword in the middle of the night, right?
Not that one.
Okay.
Not Green Swath, but the other one last time I touched it, which is why I gave it to you, because I didn't want to touch it anymore.
All right. So I might become uncontrollably loud at night. Okay.
While you guys are talking, Karastan has picked up his sack of holding, and he's cleaning it in the water, getting the urine out of it, wringing it out, laying it out to dry.
Good. Well, I mean, was that a productive day?
Well,
You found some silver for the orcs.
I mean, yeah. Was that our goal? Do we get XP for that now?
I got a good workout.
Your calluses have calluses. Congratulations. Yes.
Well, if the aim is to meet up with the shaman, that's not going to the shamans around. We have no idea when that's going to be. So until then, I'm not sure how we do.
Okay. So there's a
Other
knock
than just
on the outside of your door, just slightly
There's a
after
knock.
Arvin stops looking out.
Oh, God. Come in.
It's one of the dwarves. He's bringing over a pot that's got some boiling soup in it. And he says, they brought us more than we needed, and there's no real way to preserve food down here. It's so damp, so we just make soup out of it. Thought you might need some. I puts the pot on, the floor. You guys don't have tables or anything like that in here. Nods grimly. Thank you. It's very kind of you to think of us.
Anything for a brother dwarf, and thank you and kind.
They don't mind us associating after we work, and they give us enough time to sleep, a bit of time to eat.
Well, truth be told, the reason we're here, there's a relic of a sword we're after. It's supposed to be hidden in this city somewhere.
So you said a bit before, but I've not seen it. We've barely left these chambers since we were brought down here. I know that there's a vast city and a temple to the north. There's shaman. There's more than one. Just use the word as if it were a singular being, but there are many of them.
Oh, like
They
moose.
take those that are practitioners, those with power. They take to the temple. They're never seen again. At least that's what we've heard from other workers. We've not been here long enough.
So are they doing construction on the temple, or any way we can get on that workforce?
It seems like they're unearthing the temple.
Maybe we can use that to our advantage. And Bard, maybe you'll have to tell them some grand tale of how we've excavated other temples and we have experience. Get us on that work crew.
I don't suppose that now that we've seen this place and we know the local area or something, there's any way of us knowing anything about this city itself, about what could have happened to it? There anything out of myths and legends that could be there?
Well,
I have the ancient history skill.
Why don't you roll it?
As to why,
Let's do that. If anyone
Oh,
has
yeah,
ancient
that's true.
history, can go ahead and roll it.
yeah. I'm just not sure if it's going to. If you need to have a local. Need to have some sort of.
Yeah.
That sounds like it would be a
Nope.
bard's
I have
tale.
ancient languages. That wouldn't apply, would it?
No.
Ooh, we both know. We tell each other these exciting stories we've heard of places. Far off
Mostly it's
lands.
because this isn't your area, is the thing. None of you grew up
Yeah.
around.
Yeah, makes sense.
I mean, we could blow some bits to try and just do a re-roll, just because we've got a pretty good chance of making it.
Okay, so since Karastin's with you and he's NPC, if you want to blow 4 for an instant success, Karastin will tell you something.
Correct?
I don't want to use him just to be a
Right.
just to give you information. But if somebody wanted to spend those bits, Karastin might know a little something.
If that's the case, if we spend 4 bits, we would know something too, because we'd have
Yeah,
success.
but he'd probably know more than us.
Yeah.
So 4 bits for Creston?
If you wanted to do that,
Yeah,
sure.
why not? I vote yes. What about
You
you?
find
guys?
Karastin's interactions tree, and you find the correct thing to ask. No. So what Karastin knows, he was born in this area. He doesn't know his complete parentage, other than one of his parents was from the barbarian tribes in the area. So he has a connection to the place. It's one of the reasons why he wants to reunite the tribes. He feels somehow compelled to do it, and it will help him learn more about his history too. But they do have some tales, songs that have been kind of passed down as an oral tradition. This lake in this area was actually the site of. So the traditions say that the mountain blew its top off, like a volcano, right? But the thing is that this area where this mountain is not an active. It's not. There was no volcano here, but something very similar happened. There are tales that there was once a great city here. Perhaps it was a magical tragedy. Perhaps some creation of theirs went awry, but it caused the mountaintop and their city to explode. Rubble falls down. This lake over time fills it in. But it's very likely that that city was buried under rock, and then over time, the top of that rock filled in by this water, this river, or it's not a river, this lake that's up here. So the city is likely that original city, whatever explosion happened that threw dirt up into the air, caused the mountain to blow up, got buried by all of this. So yeah, ancient human city.
Can we make it blow up again?
Yep. But it would mean, though, especially since the architecture is not dwarven, most likely human, why would a temple of Groomish be here? That doesn't make sense. It certainly wouldn't have been a temple to Groomish.
Of course, they just be the.
Does anybody know any?
Same as a temple of Groomish, so they could do their thing.
Yeah, so for the bits, Karastin will postulate that that's what caused the explosion, or what caused the magical mishap, is perhaps some facet of Groomish was unearthed here, or was called here, and it caused whatever calamity to happen.
Interesting.
Can we unleash it again? Make another explosion? I'm sure that'll be fine. No repercussions.
Not at all. Of course
Not
not.
for us, I'm sure.
He visits with you for a while, Grimly. You certainly not one of your clans. It's from a clan in the area that's pretty much been broken up and dispersed over time. Most of their great halls have just fallen to disrepair. So they travel about offering up their skills and trade for gold, food, lodging, that sort of thing. But they were waylaid by the orcs as they were passing through. But he's tired. He's worked all day. He's going to go and get some sleep. He leaves you with
Does
you
he,
guys.
if there's a stream of the lake we can tap into to flood the place out?
If so, they don't know where it would be. They've only been here like a week, maybe longer. Time gets weird.
They might have navigation. I don't know. We don't.
Well, I mean, if you're just asking in general, the lake is far above. Like, this is a fair amount of distance underground that you were brought. It would take a fair amount of mining straight up to be able to pierce the lake bottom.
As far as we know.
As far as you know. Poppy, what do you want? Oh, he's being needy tonight. He says, I will play the part of your oppressor tonight.
Oh, look at that.
Never have you been oppressed by such cuteness before.
We volunteer for 12-hour shifts in the mine, trying to dig out treats for the oppressor.
Yes.
I accept my fate.
Okay, so you're all fairly tired after having done a lot of physical work during the day. You have had good food, though. Arvin, are you still down hit points?
No.
No. Okay.
That minuscule amount of healing I got was enough.
Karastan still, he took a few hit points from a busted mouth, but he's not going to waste the healing potions on it. He's just going to get some sleep. Because he has a constitution bonus. Meh.
Good for him.
Anyway, he tells you to wake me up when you've got a plan. Suppose we're going to labor on until someone comes up with a brilliant way to get us to what we need.
Well, Dwarf, since you know so much about this sort of thing, can you give me some terms or abilities to say something so I could tell the people, hey, if you did this sort of thing, you'd be good at excavating things out in a secure way that stops things collapsing, such that they might want to move us over to excavating a temple which needs careful excavation. But I don't know anything about that sort of thing. So if you can tell me what I can tell them, we can go, hey, look, we know about this sort of thing. Put us on that table. And the dwarf just stares silently.
Are you talking to me or the NPC dwarf?
He's left.
You, the NPC dwarf left.
He said, whatever information I would know, I figure just lie to them. They're not going to know. Just tell them.
But I don't even know the sort of thing to say to make it seem plausible. Give me some great phrases.
Like a temple before. That this is beneath us, that we're doing repairs on here, just casual conversation, that we're repairing these walls when we used to work as archaeologists and fixing temples.
Give me some things like building give me some terms like supporting a beam or setting up a fulcrum.
You go. Tell them you know how to support beams. I'm a locksmith, not a mason. I'll share whatever information I would know dwarf-wise that may sound good. I'll share otherwise. Like I'm a
it's just going to have to sound good. It doesn't actually have to mean anything. It just has to sound bamboozling that actually has an idea about the sort of thing I'm talking about.
Give them some stonework terms to use.
Yeah.
You once stole a book on masonry. You might have flipped a page or two.
Yeah. Got a full arch beam and pivot your support braces and
Well, let's say then that Bard has got some basic information on mind support that you can maybe talk a good game and try to fast talk somebody.
Yep.
That's something that you could be doing. Is anyone else doing anything else other than, again, I can't stress how much exhausted you are. Even combat doesn't take the same kind of work
At
that
that
you've been
point, I'm
doing today.
time to crash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
otherwise,
resting.
yeah.
Okay. In which case, Arvin, you have a dream.
Somebody should have
This
tied me
time-
down.
This time,
Hey.
it's not very energetic. You are looking for the blade of Kursk. You are in the Orcish cities, although somehow you can see just fine. You can see in the shades of heat and pressure, but otherwise plunged in blackness, and you're seeing everything by these impressions of heat. You sense bitter cold and blackness numbing you. There's an image of a black obelisk stretching into the gloom, just from top to bottom of this cavern. It seems to be immense, like the lynch or center pin of a great wheel or a great cavern, and you get the sense of a very large open space, undead creatures and malignant magics, and you look up this on this obelisk high above you. You can see the hilt of a blade sticking out, with the blade firmly embedded in this obelisk. And when Arvin awakes, the sack of holding is laying on your face. The sword is half drawn out of the bag so that you're holding the hilt, and the sword blade itself is still in the sack.
Krask isn't still wearing the sack, is he?
No.
That's good.
He's freeballing it tonight. He's going commando. You guys were left with some very itchy wool sheets to cover yourselves. You
Well,
wake
I tr-
early from this dream that was very visceral. Your heart's pounding as you're still having that sense of just dark magic and undead about you. As you wake, everyone else is still sleeping. Karastan snores, of course.
An obelisk that big, that high, couldn't be made by natural means.
Father Cedric
Must be
laughed in his
aliens.
sleep for some reason.
It happens.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I will pack away the sword and try to, make the sack look like a sack and not a place where we're storing all of our stuff, so that the orcs don't come and steal it. And then I'll try and get some restful rest.
Okay. Yeah, you finish off your sleep with no more troubling dreams. You're all awoken by your door being pulled aside. And again, one of these orcs that seem to be just lower down, injured. This one has kind of slats over its leg. His leg's been set poorly. Comes over, lays some loaves of bread, hard bread out in front of you with some more water. Doesn't say anything, just leaves it in the middle of the floor, turns to leave.
All right. Well, I will try and fill everybody in on my dream. Hey, I woke up with the sword, and it was directing me to a sword. And blah, blah, blah about this thing.
Did you get any idea of where the sword is from that?
In the top of the pillar.
Ah.
If we can see... We can't see well, it's pitch dark. We can't see anything. And it's not going to help.
See.
Yeah, but... No, you don't have infravision, do you? Do orcs see an infravision? Do they only see, like...
Yeah, they do. They can see in the dark just fine.
So I was probably... Right, but do they see how I was seeing last night in my dream?
Oh, you don't actually know. I mean,
Exactly.
not
That's
being
not
an
a
orc.
thing I've ever asked anybody about. Hey, how do your eyes function?
But I will remind folks that one of the things that Karastan brought that he thought might be useful are these lenses that you could wear. And he told you it would help you to be able to see in the dark.
Oh, well.
No, we don't remember that at all.
No.
Yeah,
Probably
yeah.
Yeah, but
we
we
told
have
him to
to
put
use
those on
limited
the
use.
cart.
Yeah, he told you not to wear them for too long because you'll get headaches and bad things will happen.
All right, well, we'll take a pair with us to look in the cavern today, I guess, if we can.
Yep. There's
see
6
out
pairs in
the
the
vast
box. If you want to
distance.
slide one out and kind of just hide it on your person, you can certainly do that.
Was the pillow in the room we were digging? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Okay.
Vast cavern.
I mean, we might be able to, like, I don't know if we'll see the vast cavern as we're being moved towards our place or not. I don't know. At the very least, somebody can wear them and we can see the stuff around us, and maybe.
Well, Grimley can see anyway, so he can see if there's a vast cavern.
Yeah, and it doubles. If I
True.
use one of the
Okay.
lenses, it doubles my distance.
Oh, then here, have a pair of glasses. I mean, it's a giant obelisk that was stretching as high as the cavern, so you should be able to see it pretty easily.
Yeah, it's probably going to be in the bigger city, though.
Yeah, but I mean,
You guys are given enough time to wake up and eat before your taskmasters come. And I didn't say this, but they did remove your leg irons while you slept. That's why the one dwarf was able to come out to you last night. So they put them back on for your work today. You're given freshly. They're not the same tools you were using yesterday. So like they're actually keeping up to make sure you've got useful tools instead of blunted and broken tools. And you're set to work again on another section of wall.
We were going to taskmaster. I'm trying to do the spiel of, hey, we know about excavating temples and fulcruming the pit and excavating with care and stuff like that. We should be on more delicate situations, and we hear that there's more useful things.
This is not the same orc that you talked to yesterday, so go ahead and give me another charisma check.
see if we can get this one killed as well.
Oh, that's good. There's the same checkup. That's the same roll I did the previous one.
You know, this one's kind of talkative. You know, he doesn't seem to. He's not really mistreating anybody. Like he puts, make sure that everything's on and well. Make sure that everything is so that you can't run away. But he's not really abusing you or anything. Takes you to a new wall. He makes sure that you have water out. It's clean. You start talking to him about this, and he kind of nods along. And I'm not going to role play the whole thing out, but he essentially tells you, it's like, yeah, I mean, you might be tapped for more important work, but the shaman is out until he can interrogate you. This is, we keep people here until we move you along. So by that, the dwarves have been waiting here a week because they've never talked to the shaman.
But presumably there's the temple is being excavated even when the shaman's not. There's other shamans. There's the lower level shamans are doing things that we might be able to help with.
Okay. Well, that's a good check. He gives you kind of a non-committal that he'll ask around. No sense in wasting good workers on, this is busy work at best.
Yep.
And you're left alone to labor. Today, the dwarves are singing. It's not very loud, but they start singing, and they seem to be of better spirits from having better food and somebody looking out for them yesterday. Seems to have
I do counter songs in the game, yes, but they were singing.
Counter song!
If I know the song, I'll join in with them.
Okay. You labor again. You labor for several hours before food is brought out. But the person bringing food this time is the same one you talked to earlier, Bard, and tells you that we've had a wall collapse.
Ooh, that's not good.
You have an opportunity, and he kind of shrugs his head at the other dwarves, have an opportunity to prove your usefulness. He motions for another orc who brings up better food. It's more than just bread, more meat. The dwarves are being given the same. Eat, regain your strength. We'll move you in an hour.
Okay. I quickly explain to the others what's going on and why it's happening. So we're not so caught by surprise of, hey, what?
Okay, Arvin,
No one
you
else
still have to
talks.
prepare the glasses. So at some point while you're doing the excavating, you can put yourself in a dark corner where you're not getting any of the candlelight. You slip the glasses on. It is exactly like what you saw in your dream.
God. Well, I look around. I don't see. I don't see any undead wandering around. I guess not.
No, but the quality of the vision, like you can see
Yeah.
contour, you can see everything's kind of shades of gray. Where people have just recently touched kind of leave an after image. You can't look directly at the candle flame. It hurts to look directly at that candle flame. You can kind of side eye it, but it's very bright in your vision. And this was the same quality that you saw in your dream. This everything kind of shades of gray.
So am I seeing somebody else who wore a pair of these glasses? Maybe. I don't know. Well, I'll tell the others. I'll take the glasses off and stow them away again and just say, hey, it looks the same.
Everybody eats up. You rest. The other dwarves kind of they bring their chain line over to where you guys are. Eventually, some orcs come out and they attach the dwarves to the end of your line. So Grimly, you're kind of attached to them, and they lead you off north.
It looks like you're with us now.
Well, whether that's a step up or down is yet to be seen. I hope you've not got us into any further trouble, brother. We're not the adventurous sort. My own brothers and me. Don't expect us to lend a useful hand at the sword or axe. We'll do what we can, but we're not great fighters.
Your minds and hands are still powerful tools.
Once you've murdered your first hobo, it's all over. It's all downhill for me.
Once you had a taste of murder, hoboing, that's the end of it. It's your life forever.
It's that first thing to get you that level to level 1 and then...
Right. So you brought through another one of these reinforced tunnels, very wide tunnels. This time at the end of it, where you can see a larger city ahead of you, but it's one of these where these squat stone buildings. You can still see like the roofs of some of them are still embedded in the ground, and there are other workers working to get them out to like unbury them. There are a lot more slaves in this area, tied together, working in teams of 20, sometimes 40 people working on a single building to kind of unearth it. And they're using much finer equipment, hammers and chisels mostly, like thrush, brooms, like being very careful with the unearthing. But before you get into that area properly, there is an immense gate. It's a large wrought iron gate. It's got bronze image and hinges on it. The imagery is two leering, tusked orcs kind of facing each other on opposite sides of the gate. And as you guys are coming up, the gate is opened from the inside by a very large contingent of orcs. There are towers on either side of the gate filled with orcs with crossbows that are kind of looking out over everything. The workers are not being directly supervised, but there are groups of orcs going from excavation to excavation area just to looking at progress. And you're kind of brought into this area, and you're put in one of these stone huts again. And all of you, this is including the dwarves, all of you are told that a foreman will come and speak to you, find what your usefulness lies and where they can put you to best work. This one has no door. You're just kind of put in there. They leave the chains on you, and you're just left. And all around you can hear the sounds of activity of people digging, unearthing. Must be some other dwarves out there because you can hear that low kind of bass voices singing, working. There's a lot of chatter. They don't seem to mind people speaking to one another loudly or otherwise. People are yelling at each other over work areas to work areas. You also saw that they're being regularly brought water, regularly brought food. They're treated better here.
Now, if you want to stay here, we need to prove our worth. So, does anyone know how to mine actually do anything like actually support a wall?
I pick things up and put them down.
Yeah. We'll look over at the other dwarves and
You
sort of
do
see
it.
if they know. Do you actually know anything about walking?
They all go into saying, "Look, it's delicate work." They're putting a great importance on these buildings of not breaking them, trying to get them unearthed.
Great. I trip over a stone on the way in with my 3 decks, and then crash into a building, smashing it all down. That's fine.
Arvin finds a very old ancient statue, which he promptly shatters as he falls headfirst into it.
Yep.
That's how the Venus de Milo lost her arms.
Yeah, if we actually need to prove that we're a competent group here and to stay working in here, do not have me work on any of this. I mean, I can look around and see if I can see things from the things that I've seen in my vision. That might be the best way for me to help this right now. I'll take a more managerial role in this excavation position.
So how well can we see at the moment, given that they don't care about light too much? Are the candles met around?
There are a lot of humans working out there, so this area is actually lit up pretty well. Still not great, but far better than being in the pitch blackness that most of you have been in for a bit.
So I'll do like any heavy lifting that needs to be done, like moving stuff and all that, holding and bracing. Like,
I'm just giving you guys a moment to kind of talk if there was anything you wanted to plan. But if not, what happens is some orcs come in. These are dressed almost for war, and also like they've been in battle recently. One of them has a great tower shield that has claw marks just etched and bloody on the outside, with like little bits of like talon and claw still embedded in the shield. And they come in and they say, one of them speaks common or trade tongue and says, "We hear that you are good workers of stone and metal. We've had a breach that we need repaired. You unfortunates get to fix it."
Can I use my animal lore to decipher what type of talon that might be?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Hua. That's not the right button. No. This one. Hua.
There we go.
Failure by 4.
No idea. I will give you that it's not a natural animal. It's not hoof or claw or beak of any natural animal that you've ever seen.
I tell that to Bard. Just like, I don't think those are normal animals that they're fighting.
Hopefully they're not down here.
I don't speak Orcish.
Well, neither does Odie, so Odie said that out loud to you.
No, but I was going to ask the orc something. But
no, the orcs speak in trade common, so you can speak to us.
Right. So I was just going to say problems with the undead?
Looks at you. Yes, ghouls, undead, other disgusting diseased animals.
Okay, how bad are they if the orcs are telling us that?
Well, I mean, I did. Okay, thanks, orc.
Right. We will guard you as you work. He throws his tower shield down. Someone else brings him a new one. They're trading out weapons for non-blunted, non-chipped weapons, gearing up to go back out. You are all fitted with very good, like mauls, axes, picks. There's a contingent of other slaves that are coming behind you with like buckets and barrels and things to take debris with. There's a push cart that's filled with rope, iron, what would you call them? Chisels. There's all kinds of tools to work on stone and metal.
I don't have proficiency in any of these weapons.
And you guys are marched through the city. And if you look at the map, this is this big area right in the middle. This is enormous. There's like a central highway that runs through it. And this is just a large open chamber. These are all buildings and streets that have been cleared away. Like at the fringes of this enormous cavern is where all the debris has been put. Just kind of to shore up the sides. But this is just this enormous, large city that's been unearthed. It's filled with orcs, completely filled with orcs. The buildings are made of stone. Grimly, though, it's not dwarven make. It's definitely not dwarven make. You would say human. Some of it's ornamental, but most of the ornamentation has been broken or badly damaged, shored up here and there so that they're still useful buildings. Nothing is more than like 2 stories high, although it looks like many of the buildings were much higher at some point. But they take you down this middle thoroughfare, and this is a very long distance. So you get to that first bend there in the map, and then they take a break. There's actually a watchtower on either side of that long middle road. They bring you out food, water. At this point, they hook up some mules. Actually, let's not say mules. They're mountain goats, which they've trained to pull some of these mine carts.
There you go, Eddie. Some mountain goats to play with.
Right.
Babies.
And it takes you, it takes a good several hours to get to the end of this long kind of procession, this long road down to the middle, where you get to the very tip of the chasm. And you can see their problem now. There was a rock shift. Something happened where the bracing and the shoring collapsed, and the road abruptly ends with this rock fall. Large, thick boulders. Some of it looks like it was worked stone that might have been walls or perhaps a building. It's all just completely barring the rest of the road here. You can see there's metal in the structure too. Giant beams of metal that must have been support at some point. And so you're brought here. There's your contingent, there's the dwarves, and there's 20 other slaves that are brought in. They're all human. They set out several lamps, oil lamps, candles, etc. And the orcs that are with you start taking defensive positions around. And you can see where there are holes in some of this rock fall. And you can see like bodies of creatures that were shot with crossbow bolts or hacked apart, kind of laying out, half out of these holes. And it's just honeycombed with them. They had started a burn pit at the bottom where they were starting to drag some of these creatures down and just burn the bodies. And it's giving off a really foul, disgusting smell. It's very bitter. It's very just pungent. Makes the whole area just really nauseating to be in. And yeah, you're told, we need this cleared.
Get on it.
Yeah.
While we were going through this area, is there any way I could recognize anything from my vision?
Well, the chasm, or this big area where this huge city is certainly big enough for your vision, but it's too busy. Like your vision didn't have any of these houses in it. And you didn't see straight roads and none of the city was in your vision at all. You just had this impression of a big open area and this obelisk going from like a large spindle that just went from ceiling to floor. So no, nothing here resembles your vision at all.
So are we near point 22 on the map? I'm just trying to work out where we are.
Well, you're right outside of 22. Yeah, like
Okay.
the road has been blocked off from 22 from this fall of rock and rubble. Could be where the shamans have been for the last week. But you guys get to work. Dwarves start up a song. You get like a little brigade going where you're pulling rubble out. And you quickly find that it does take skilled labor because somebody pulls out a rock without really thinking about what it might do, and it causes another slide of rock to come down. Poor person's just crushed under the weight of it all. And so the dwarves get everybody to stop. And then they start crawling through everything, and they start marking where you can safely dig and where you can't. And as they're going through doing this, one of the dwarves who is motioning down for another flag to put in the wall, you see this clawed arm reach out from one of the niche holes in this wall, just kind of grabs him and just tears his head off, pulling and reaches down, grabs the body that's about to fall and pulls it into the hole. And as you guys watch, as these just gobbets of flesh fall off the walls, glowing eyes start to peek out of all these holes in the walls. And then it's just a rush as these ghouls and these undead start pouring down the rock side as the orcs start taking up defensive. Like they make like a shield wall in front of all of you workers. The crossbow guys are behind them, start shooting off the crossbows. For orcs, these guys know military tactics. And we'll end it there with just this wall of ghouls and undead just descending upon all of you workers and the orcs.
How's your turn undead abilities?
Yeah.
Do you want to reveal that
out pretty soon? Yeah.
We'll find out. We'll find out exactly how good Cedric is at warding off undead. Perhaps he can make them do a dancing conga line. We'll find out. We'll find out. So we'll end it there for the night, guys. Got to the interesting part of the game. Of course, remember, none of you have any of your weapons or armors. They're all being worn around Karastin's midsection right now, so you'll have to work that out. But yeah, Richard, tell us about your channel. What you got going on?
Well, aren't you glad you were here for the uninteresting part of the stream that we were all
Yeah, it was it's low energy part.
And if you like uninteresting streams, why, you can watch me if I ever actually stream again, which I will do at some point, playing video games badly here on Twitch at LMTDTMFFR, or say it with me now, Limited
Time Offer.
Nova.
Yeah.
All right, Jameis, tell us all about your blog. Well, you've taken a vacation recently to Fiji. I'm sure it's all in your blog, right?
It is all about it is in there, and the wonderful fun time of trying to leave the island when it's Fiji time, and that's when people don't bother to turn up and get you to actually go places.
Yeah, sounds good. Dion, tell us all about your stream. You started a new game.
I have. Well, when I'm not playing TTRPGs with all my super cool awesome friends like you guys, you can find me on my channel, Substance Used. I play retro JRPG games, and I do GTA 5 roleplay. Right now we're playing through Fida Emblem of Justice, a Super Nintendo Japanese-only release of a tactical RPG. If you want to imagine what this game is like, think Shining Force, but instead of us being the heroes, we are traumatized people of war just trying to survive.
Oh, that sounds light and fun.
It's a really good game. So far, it's been very good.
Oak, what you got going on?
In about 30 minutes or so, we'll probably fire up some 5e homebrew D&D. Do that every Tuesday night after we get done here. do the same again midnight Central on Fridays, and then I run Grimdark Homebrew midnight Central Saturday nights. And seeing as I am now on the other side of the hill with you, Bert, tonight's my birthday. Everybody should totally go and subscribe to my YouTube channel if they haven't already.
You guys
Just
should do
say happy
that.
birthday.
His channel is very pretty, much prettier than my channel. Good stuff. And yes, we did a call out to your birthday at the beginning of the show while you weren't here. So yes,
I appreciate
you
it.
are
My
there
daughter gave me a great birthday gift by going crazy on me.
Yes, there's that. Bill, anything going on with the frogs?
Yeah, still running Lost City Baracus. We took a little bit of a break due to Total Con. Also still running my Dwaro Deep game. Swords and Wizardry. If you feel like getting in the game, hit me up and I'll get you in.
Cool stuff. Guys, hang out with us for just a little bit. We're going to raid Art Hard Studios. They're still running some D&D, it looks like, tonight. But check out all of our social stuff. Go to Blue Magic, BLUMAGIK.com. All the social links are there. The YouTube channel can use some love. That's where all this stuff gets cached after it drops off of Twitch. So please check that out. But otherwise, let's go raid, guys. I think I did that right.
Let's go.
Let's find out.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
it shows we're
it's
going.
starting.
Is it
Their
starting?
new studio looks great.
Yep.
Good night.
Not all.
Yay!
Hey.
All right.